Greenland? She's not from Greenland.
No.
She's from
No,
Mars.
but she's fucking number one in Greenland.
Yeah. You don't have to be from somewhere to be number one.
I mean, we're number one in Greenland.
That's right.
Notable Press B to Cancel listener, Bjork.
Hey, Bjork, we're looking for sponsorships.
When she's not busy clawing people's faces off, she's listening to Press B. It's great.
Yeah.
Listen,
all right. I see us.
Bjork, okay?
I see us live on both.
Hey, Opti. Opti's on Twitch.
Hello, Opti.
I'm gonna tweet.
I think we're gonna have to ban that emote though. Skeet.
Is that like when you're like hungry but you don't want to say the full phrase, so you're like squeet? Let's go eat squeet.
It's after you've been hungry and you've eaten and you go to the bathroom, then you're skeeting. Hey Jeff, hey Sinstress, over on YouTube.
Leaves you with skeet marks.
Yeah, Chard and I are in the same boat right now. We're just
look. I don't make the terms of Blue Sky. They decide to call it skeeting. Who am I to go against the 30 million people on Blue Sky? It's fine.
Oh, is that a Blue Skyism?
Blue Sky thing, yeah.
I guess so.
It's not tweeting, it's skeeting.
A blue schism.
So every time you post, it's a skeet.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, re-skeeting.
To the windows, to the walls.
Okay, Char, whenever you're ready. We're done bashing my last social media platform of choice.
Well, there's always Red Note. Okay.
Ni hao.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, what did Wolf say it was?
Hey, Wolf,
the opening line.
Wolf, why don't you do the opening line?
I think I know what it was. It was in God we trust. God mode we trust. In other tiny miracles. Was that it?
No,
okay,
not quite.
You mixed them. You mixed them. Mixed metaphors.
Yeah, it was just God mode and other small miracles today on.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
It's too late to put Wolf's video in.
Don't open the console over the intro.
I didn't say that I was necessarily up for hosting. I just said I'd do it.
Well, too late.
Guys,
I pointed.
welcome one and all. I see you're throwing the host at me. No, fantastic. Welcome one and all, everybody, over to Press B to Cancel today. Your favorite retro-inspired podcast for the next 60 to 90 minutes. I am your host tonight, Chard Monk, and not a very good one, but you got me, so too bad. But with me are three better ones that decided that they didn't want to do it tonight. I got my good friends here. We're going to talk about some fun stuff tonight with Mr. Sick Jake, of course. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, and it's not that I don't want to do it. It's people are tired of hearing my voice, so I need to give people a break. We got to bring back your dulcet tones, Chard.
My dulcet tones. Listening to you talk is like having warm caramel poured into my ear. It's pretty good.
Let me tell you about Circus
if honey had a sound, it would be Jake's voice. Speaking of sweet, DJ Spinistar is in the house right now. What's up, Sinistar? How you doing, sir? Welcome in.
I'm doing well, and I'm really wondering if pouring caramel in your ear is good. But why not?
Every Friday, I feel like I'm wrapped in a warm blanket, and it's surrounded by Jake's somber vocal demeanor.
Also, since you said DJ Spinistar, how about Wiki? There you go.
There it is. Speaking of Wiki, Wolfie is here. That's the transition we're going with tonight. Werewolf, how are you tonight, bud?
I hope I don't get caramel in my ears. That sounds like a place you don't want ants.
Well, there's always sweet nougat too. We can drop that in as well. So we just have a Snickers bar.
Don't sweet nougat over the intro, please.
Please, no nougats over the intro. Speaking of nougats, you know what is a great nougaty center to the candy bar of retro video games, guys? It's cheat codes. It's cheat codes. And you know what we're going to talk today about? The games that we like the most that are better when you use cheat codes. When cheaters prosper, guys, that's what we're going to talk about today. We've got a lot of retro games. The four of us scoured deeply in the internet. We spent tireless hours looking through YouTube videos and semicolon typing codes and first-person shooters and Sims and all kinds of fun stuff just to find the right games to talk about tonight. Tonight, the four of us are going to do that. So we might as well jump into this and think about, what is your favorite game that is just better with cheats, just better with codes? May it be a level select, God mode, supersonic stuff. If you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog, what is the game that just makes it better? And we got a few of you for you guys here. You can either agree or disagree, however you want to go. Who would like to go first with one of their two games? Sinstar, you've quickly
Yeah.
raised your hand. What is a game that's just better with
Well,
the cheat codes on?
I'm gonna go with Quake, but I'm gonna talk a little bit of id beyond Quake as well. Id Software. No, so Quake. I mean, Quake is great on its own. It's absolutely stellar to play, through the single player mission in the progression that it's built. You have to start with with the base gun, and then you get, your rocket launcher, you get your double barrel, you get, I mean, etc. But for me, once I'd played through the single player campaign, uh it was all about trying to, I mean, we didn't have a term speed run back then that I knew of. It was, how do we get through this level as fast as we can by exploiting something in the game. And so we'd throw on God mode and we'd get all the weapons, and then we basically try to rocket jump our way through or over or around. And if you didn't have God mode, and this is the reason that you have to, God mode is better for it, is you take splash damage every time you rocket jump, right? Because you are literally dropping a rocket at your feet.
Right.
So were you going to say
Rocket jumping
something,
was the best.
Wolf?
Oh, I was just laughing.
Oh, okay. But I kind of want to expand because while I was thinking about this, I thought about, so I'm going to get a little technical here. I'm a Linux nerd. I've done Linux for my career for years, and somebody took Doom, because of course you take Doom and you put it on everything, or you make it do everything. And they basically took, in the Windows parlance, they took the what's it called, the activity manager or whatever it is, and they they made it so you could play Doom to go kill processes on the machine. And so
Wow.
basically you jump in and every monster had an ID for what the process was. So
Mhm.
so when we were, when my buddy and I were bored, we were system administrators, when we were bored and like a machine locked up, but we didn't actually need, it was one of a number, and we would spin up, it was called PS Doom, for process Doom. And we would go and try to murder the process that was frozen. But more often than not, I got to the point where I'd type in the God code, I'd grab the BFG, and I'd just take out every process on the machine, which of course would cause it to lock up. But it was always glorious. So
Right.
so once again, God mode and all the weapons and everything. So Quake for sure, for the aspect of speedrunning before we knew what speedrunning was.
Nice.
And yeah. Plus it's just great. Well, and then the other one that's fun to do in any id game is to do the no clipping code and
Yeah.
just run through walls. Just
Run
run.
through walls,
Yeah.
fly,
Uh-huh.
pretty much
Yeah.
have absolutely no gravity affect you
Yep.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
We used to no clip a lot in many of the early Doom 2 games, when we were like, I don't know where the hell I'm supposed to go. No clip, and just go through the sprawling map, and then you go through the door and you just see
You
the
get the
entire
repeating,
like map. Yeah,
or
and
the
you're like,
repeating
oh,
image, right? The
yeah, that's
repeating
right, where your
image.
guy's
Uh-huh.
swaying and it's
Uh-huh.
starting to like repeat. That was a good one.
Yeah.
We My buddy and I that my Diablo 2 buddy and I that I grew up with playing games all the time. Whenever we download most first person shooters, we just throw on the all ammunition, because we just wanted to see what all the guns did. That
Yeah.
was just our thing. So we did that with
Yeah.
Hexen and Heretic and stuff like that. Um, those games, I don't know if it made it better. I just know that we were like, we don't want to go find them. We would just want to start out right out with the arsenal and start running around.
Yep.
Quake being one of those games. Quake, original Quake and Quake 2, we did the same thing too. So
Yep.
great games to cheat to. Great games to have the cheats done for.
Did Quake not have a
Absolutely.
map? Quake 2?
Like a map that you could discern.
Yeah, like a
Like you
overlay
could-
map or something that you knew where you were going in the maps. Like,
I can't remember.
Not that I
I honestly can't
remember. Not that I
okay,
remember.
interesting. Well, because then no clip makes a lot of sense because then you can it's easier to explore, right? Because I can see how you get so lost in that game. That's interesting. I didn't realize it didn't have a map.
Or you'd use no clip to go find all the secrets.
Yeah,
Right.
you could definitely you could see where all the branches and expansions on things were, made things a lot easier. So, but
Yeah.
this, when we were doing that, I had no idea what achievements were, or even they didn't even really have achievements. So you were just like, oh, cool, something neat.
Oh yeah. There
but
was no reason. I mean, other than like, self gratification, there was no reason to not cheat, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. I might piggyback on Sinistar's Quake one, because I've got a first person shooter myself that I would love to talk about. This is kind of, I don't know how known this game is to a lot of folk. It's a game I loved playing growing up. I'm sure Sinistar knows about it because he's kind of the resident PC player of the team that did more of that than we did in our young years when the rest of us had consoles. But this was a game I played the hell out of, and it's called Rise of the Triad, and it's a first person. Apparently, it's had a remaster.
I'm
done.
sorry.
Yeah.
Is it Triad?
It's that
Triad.
trees of the
Triad.
Reese's of the trees. Reese's Pieces Treeses. No, it's Rise of the Triad, and it's a standard first person shooter. Going up against 1940s Germany. That whole deal. But this game was kind of neat because you could do a dual wield. You had two pistols that you could run around with and shoot both times. And the weapons were really cool and pretty standard. But there was one thing in this game, and it was a power up, but you could turn it on permanently. It was called Hand of God. And basically, you turn on God mode, you grab Hand of God, and you just literally obliterate everything in your path. This weapon, you shoot basically balls of light out of your hand, and it just eviscerates and disintegrates anything that it touches. And it has homing. So you just throw it out there and it just goes find people and it kills them. The
It's
best
the
part about
BFG
this,
on drugs. It's the BFG
it
on
was
drugs.
it
Yeah.
was a tracker BFG and not a straight shot BFG. The best part about this weapon when being used is when the character has this ability, he yawns as if he is entirely bored running around. It is the funniest sounding thing that I had ever heard in a first person shooter, because you literally feel like you're God and you're just bored. It was so funny just to hear and he's just throwing the light balls out and eviscerating everything and sucking it up. This one also has a really cool code, and it was called Ludicrous Gibbs, and it basically just made it made the deaths more graphic. So if you
Yep.
blew something up, there was more parts of the body that flew off of things. It was
Yep.
still like your Dooms and your standard id Software kind of looking things, where they all had regularly placed, like they fall, the animations are all the same. They just added more hands and more gibber. We call it gibbers. So it was
Yeah.
Ludicrous Gibbers. You'll hear me actually say that quite a bit when I stream and stuff, because when things get super raunchy, you just add that extra gibbers, and you can see body parts fly all over the place. So this was a great game to play. Again, there's not a whole lot. It's a first person shooter. It plays just like Doom. It plays just like all the other ones, but you could dual wield the two-handed. You get a cool rocket launcher, but the God mode portion of it is awesome, and the Hand of God was a lot of fun to play with.
I love this game. This game was great. Apogee Software,
Mhm.
which of course, number of those retro titles, since we're retro inspired,
Mhm.
from Apogee. The remaster is actually of high quality. I've played it.
Is a
So
remaster?
There is a remaster. Yeah.
remaster, remake, or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
it's definitely cleaned up, and and it looks great, like graphically and everything. It looks really good. When I was looking this stuff up, I saw the remaster and went, no way that they remastered this particular game, really. And sure as shit, they had a good remaster on it, and everybody talks about how good it is. This game, I love the classics of these games because when the people die and they fall over and their bodies are lying on the ground, right? When you walk around them, they stay in the same spot. So it's like their body's spinning as you're
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
walking around because it's no thing. So the video has the hand of God now. They've picked up the weapon of hand of God, and it just
Yep. It just
it's just your hand
it just
sticking out, and you're
disintegrates
just
them.
throwing out little white balls, and
Yeah.
they explode. People just
Yep.
disintegrate into nothing.
That's pretty
This
funny.
is such a fun game to play with this God mode on, and it kills everything in the room. Like you just throw
Yeah.
one ball in there, and it goes and finds everything and kills it.
And it
It
disintegrates
probably
them
makes
too.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It,
Yeah.
it probably makes it pretty boring if you think about it. It was just a lot of fun to just literally walk through the game with no problems and hear the oh, you guys got to hear the sound. Like go find it, watch this video, go find this video with sound on, and you'll have a good laugh because it's pretty hilarious. So
Yep.
but that's one of my choices for games are just better with the cheat codes on. So
Yeah,
all
I
right,
never played
who
this
wants
game. I had
That
never
seems
even,
funny.
to be honest with, never even heard of this one. So
Me
I should
either.
I
Oh,
probably
really?
check
figured
this
it,
out.
I don't know a lot of people that have heard this outside of Sinistar, and of course, my friend growing up. This is not one that is talked about very commonly, um,
This
but
was
it's a great game.
This game is in need of the Colbert questionnaire,
explain.
so that way it will be known.
Oh, gotcha. No, this was during the era of like Postal and Redneck Rampage,
Yeah.
and
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I mean, basically
Yeah.
like the glut of first person shooters that just, and every single one was trying to build on the other as far as like that visceral graphical content. Like
Yeah.
Postal was bad. Redneck Rampage, you could get like what did they call it, the curse pack or whatever, and it just made it like it almost made it racist. Don't go get it. Do not go get it.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
No, there
Redneck
was
Rampage
so many
racist? What are the odds?
yeah, right.
Right.
There was so many first person shooters that just came out in droves during this time. I mean, this was the time of Quake, Serious Sam, Duke Nukem,
Yeah.
all of these kinds of games that popped out around the
Yeah.
same exact time, and they all were they're all carbon copies of one another, basically. It was basically who can make the game the most violent without getting too much in trouble.
Yeah.
So, and I think Postal and Redneck Rampage pretty much drew the line in the sand for everyone
Right.
else.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could, like I said, you could add the Ludicrous Gibbs on there and make it a little bit more visceral than it was initially. And but as you can see, it just plays like another Doom game, another Wolfenstein Doom type S game. So, but yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. It's a fun game.
I think the expansion for Redneck Rampage was called the Cuss Pack because rednecks and cussing, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
perfect. All right. Who's next on the docket? Who's got a game that they would like to talk about?
I can go next.
All right. What do you got, Wolf?
I think my broad stroke entry is going to be The Sims.
Okay. That's fair.
Is I mean, what's more fun in The Sims than building the stuff you want to build and buying all the shit you want your sim to have, so they can just live their life, right? Because
Yep.
I mean, there's something to be said for how they build the game to be played, but it's so easy to lose so much time to the game. Why do you want to lose so much time to living another life that's not your own, but doing all the same mundane shit you do anyway? So
So
I gotta go home so I can play Sims and go back to work.
So
yeah,
Sid Meier, was it Sid Meier? Whoever it was, no, that was Civ.
Will Wright.
Who did Will Wright? Thank you. Basically said he wanted to build a dollhouse, right? And so basically, by turning on the God mode or all the money or whatever in Sims, you basically have been like, I'm rich, bitch. I'm buying all of the, I'm buying all of the parts to the dollhouse first, and then we're going to play with the dolls.
I mean, isn't the concept like Wolf said, it's building your dream home or your dream life, right?
Right. Playing the game without using the Simoleons cheat code is so tedious. because you're sitting there like buying little things here and there as you like your sim earns the money to be able to do these things, all in the middle of trying to build their relationships and do whatever the hell your goal tends to be. But you could just
Sinstress
cut
plays
that part
this.
out.
Sinstress plays this game the real way. So
Oh, my wife does.
I mean, I've done it, but to me, it's very tedious. So I
Yeah.
like to just build a house that, like, even if it's something small and modest, like sometimes I'll build like a big ass, like, this is the house I want them to live in, but I'm gonna start with this modest house that's still super fucking cool, and they don't have to do anything to it. So they just move in, and this is their house now, and they're gonna work up to the other one. But at least then I don't have to worry about filling out the house as I go. I can focus on the relationships and the wackiness and all that.
Especially the
My wife
Sims,
plays
because
this
game
and
is
literally just gets the money, and then just builds houses. That's all she does. Houses.
That's
She's like-
probably half my gameplay.
Right.
she's like, just remove the Sims. I don't care about them.
They could live in the house, watch them die, but then she just builds another house. So, what were you say, Jake? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah, especially this game where I feel like this game nickels and dimes you on everything. Everything in this game is quite expensive, right? All the wallpaper,
Yeah.
the floor tiles. And if you're starting out brand new, fresh house and you haven't played before, it is so easy to run out of money just building one single room. Like you can finish the entranceway to your house and run out of cash for everything else. And then you just wasted 2 hours building your walk-in closet when you didn't build the bedrooms, the bathrooms, and all those necessary things. So I feel like this game never gives you enough money at the start, and even when you have a sizable amount of money, you blow through it so quickly.
Just like life.
Just like life, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sim
That
poor
sounds
too.
like 2024, 25.
Yeah, and for me, I'm with you guys because for me, it's like, why would I want to live my life through somebody else in a computer? Like I already
Shit,
suffer.
my Sims
yeah.
broke too. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Damn
that's not an expansion pack, EA.
This isn't escapism at all.
my my
This is real.
my goddamn Sims house won't sell either. God damn it!
Oh man, I
Like,
gotta work
it's-
Friday on here too. Shit.
It's one of those games like once you get started, I think Wolf's on the right track here. Once you've got a house going and you get started, then I enjoy the
Yeah.
micromanaging of the relationships and the jobs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that right from the get go, I need more than a basic house. I want something else, and it's just they
Right.
never give you enough. This is like the same thing with any sim game. Like I played Theme Park a lot as a kid, and Theme Park's the same deal, right? You start with such a pitiful amount of pocket change. I don't want to sit there with the teacups for 5 hours. Just give me $1 million to build my theme park, and then I'll do the managing portion of it. But I want to start off with a sizable bank account.
Right.
I've ridden
I've-
the teacup so many times. I can
So much
puke
puke
and
to clean up by the
I
teacups.
can puke
Wow.
in Technicolor now.
I've told my Sims 3 story on here before, right? The one about my character whose kid died, got scared to death.
No,
No.
Oh, okay, great. So
What are we doing?
I did the thing where I built the really nice house and put in a pool and all that, right? Started it like had a couple, started a family. Both of the couple were working, so they'd go off to work. I needed a babysitter because there was a young kid and a baby, so I got to have a nanny come over. She would come over and just swim in the pool and ignore the kids and let them be hungry and cry and soil themselves and all this. And I got sick of her shit. Like I had my dude come home and yell at her for this. And she still didn't fix her attitude. So I was like, all right, you want to go swimming again and ignore the children? Remove the ladder. I let her drown in the pool.
Yes.
I was like, fuck her.
You
She's
know-
ignoring the children.
What we need to do,
Well-
Jake, we need to make a clip of this with no context.
yeah,
And,
100%.
and not let
And I
anybody
took away
know
the
that
ladder
this
and
is
she
a
drowned.
Sims game.
No,
And
no.
just-
The story.
Wolf just drowned his nanny. in
No,
his
no.
pool.
This is just the start. It goes on.
Wolf killed his
Couple-
kid.
Let's go.
As the children started to age up, so one of them is now a young kid, like an older kid now. He goes to get a drink in the middle of the night, gets scared to death by the ghost of the nanny. So I'm like, no. I can't just let this poor kid be dead. I killed this woman and now my kid is dead as a result. I can't have that. So I had my character start making friends, like start romancing a dude up the street because he was into the supernatural stuff. And you can have, like, if you have someone supernatural living in the house and you're on good terms with them, they can resurrect the dead.
Yeah.
What?
So yeah, it's one of
know
the
this
in
about
Sims
Sims.
3.
Okay.
It's in Sims 3. So I start romancing this guy to get him to move in with my married couple. So now they're a throuple with a dead kid.
That's the clip
And I
right
put
there.
this guy like building it up. I end up resurrecting the kid. I kid you not, the next fucking night, the ghost appears and scares the kid to death again.
Look, it's Final Destination. Sometimes you just can't escape your fate. I'm gonna
Let
say,
it go,
Wolf,
man.
I'm gonna say
Let it go.
this is important because my whole life, my secret shame of The Sims is I would start with a couple in the house, and then they would have an older, heavier weight man move in with them, and then I would lock him in like a 1-by-1 room with nothing, and just let him out every so often, and then have them taunt and tease him on end. And eventually he'd get upset and they would fight to the death and somebody would die. That's why I used to do The Sims. But you know what? That's not nearly as weird as what you're fucking doing in The Sims.
Oh, it was. This was
That's
not
pretty
planned.
weird.
It was just like I followed that rabbit hole as it went, and that would not have been possible without all the money I needed.
Guys,
Finally,
I'm
somebody better
I'm
than me at The Sims.
announcing I'm announcing today I'm quitting the podcast. I'm a little worried for my personal benefit
I'll
and
just tell you what.
and kind of my
If I'm
soul. I'm a
invited-
little worried
If
for
I'm
my soul.
invited to live with Jake, I'm not going because I will
I got a
not live in a
1-by-1
room
room
with
for you,
nothing in
Charlie.
it
It's okay.
to be berated by people until I fight to the death. You give me fetch me the Wall Street Journal. You two fight to the death.
You go live in the 1-by-1 room.
Beyond the Sim
Wow.
Dome. 2 Sims enter, 1 Sim leave. This is how we do it.
2 Sims,
Wow.
1 death. Wow.
Wow.
Tell
Okay.
you what. Well, that's great. Okay. Well, these two conversations is a whole nother podcast altogether. So I think we have an episode
It's a
planned.
therapy
guys.
session.
Yeah.
We need an
yeah.
expert for that
Shit.
one.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! And I'm over here
dark
worried that
habits
the
in gaming.
dishwasher keeps catching on fire, and I think I'm bad at Sims because I can't make
That
anybody
was-
happy in my
honestly,
fucking house.
That was what triggered it. Is she put something in the oven, went swimming, let the kitchen catch on fire while the baby was in the high chair,
You're like,
and I was like,
Yoink.
"You put my child in danger." So after the
So I'll
kid
kill
was
you.
safe,
So I drown you.
I was like, "No, you're done."
and see for me
Wolf
when
is
I played
John Wick of Sims 3.
when
God damn.
when I played The Sims, I think the worst thing that happened and I felt horrible was they pissed themselves because Sims for some reason will ignore their bladder until you tell them to
Yeah.
pay attention
Yeah.
to their bladder.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
pee. You have to finish your painting.
Yeah.
I said as I
and so-
continue working.
So I guess I'm the innocent one in this group over here. Like
Clearly are.
I forgot to tell them to go piss.
What an
That's
asshole.
lightweight.
Wow.
We
Lightweight.
go much deeper.
Wow. The dark spiral of Sims 3 with Jake and
Wow.
Wolf.
Oh dear
Episode
Lord.
next week.
We're going to get
Wow.
arrested, Wolf. There could be a knock on our door any minute now.
I'm pretty sure this podcast needs a disclaimer in the description now.
No actual Sims were hurt in the making of this episode. It's true.
Oh, Christ. I don't know where to go from there.
yeah.
All right. Jake, what game do you like to play?
Nowhere near as bad as that. I mean, like, here, I'll just pull it up on the screen. I'm done. Contra
And with that,
for
guys,
the
this is
NES
Press
chart.
B to cancel.
Let's talk about a game where you can get really sadistic. Let's talk about Contra on the NES. Who doesn't like a good drug war? No. Okay. So those who have not played Contra on the NES, I don't know. It's brutally difficult. You get like 3 lives, and unless you're GP,
Unless yeah, I was about
Yes.
to say.
Yeah.
Unless you're GP, you're not beating this game with 3 lives. So I don't know, but me as a kid, and most everybody I knew as a kid who played Contra, we all did that famous Konami code: up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. And it gives you 30 lives. It's probably the most famous cheat code in history. And I find it was necessity to use that code for this game. I got nowhere unless I used the 30 life code. So I don't know much to say about Contra, except I love Contra. I think it's one of the best on the NES. But if it didn't have that code, I think it would go down quite a number of notches on my top 50 list.
Agreed.
You guys must have played this game with the code, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've
Oh, yeah.
finished it, but not without the Konami code. Had to be. I had to pay
I-
for it.
Can't tell you the last time I played it without the code. It was
Right.
probably it was probably the only time I played it without the code was when I didn't know the code.
I mean, I know GP is shaking his head right now when he listens to this episode. He'll be like, "Fucking amateurs." But no, I 100% Konami code every time I play this, and I'm so proud of myself when I actually beat it with the Konami code. I didn't care. I finished the damn game. I was good. But yeah, no, I there's no way I'm finishing this game without the Konami code. No way.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when
Now,
Same. I don't even know if I finished it with the Konami code.
it's hard
oh,
with the code.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to call out, if you've been stuck under a rock and you just learned the code today, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select start will put it in 2-player mode with both players having 30 lives.
Yeah. Wolf has it on his
Ah.
screen in the background there. And you can see he's got a controller doing the Konami code in the background there. So.
If you hit select to go to 2-player mode first, it doesn't work.
There's a lot of Konami code
Ah.
games out there.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking
had
about that
talked
before
about, 'cause
we went live,
Yeah.
right? What was the other game? Was it Gradius 1 Sinistar that gave you like all the power-ups, but Gradius 3
Yes.
blows you up?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so Gradius 3, being the first Gradius on the Super Nintendo, plays a little bit of a trick on you. Now it's not actually because in Gradius you're able to select your power-ups before you start. You do this on the pause screen. So you actually go into the game, you get the game started, you pause. If you do the normal Konami code, up, up, down, down, left, right, on the D-pad, it'll give you all the power-ups, and the minute you unpause, it will destroy your ship. The way that they did this with the Super Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo added the shoulder buttons, up, up, down, down, left, right.
Yeah, the
Mm,
LR.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And like
Yeah.
I love that because like that's something where when this code was first in the NES games, it was never meant to be known to the public. It was meant to be a development aid, right? So post NES, when I guess Konami developers realized, hey, everybody kind of knows our one code we use in every major game, to throw that in as an Easter egg, I think is hilarious. I love that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
And I love it because like when you're on the pause screen, it indicates that you get all the power-ups. You're like, cool, great, unpause.
Yeah. I
You
don't
just think
remember
it's
what
automatic.
magazine it was in. I learned about that in Game Pro or EGM or something like that in the tips and tricks section.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
I think it's TMNT 2, the arcade game for the NES. You can use the Konami code, and you can get 9 lives and a stage select. And I don't remember which one it unlocks, but you get one of those two,
I
or
think lives.
both of them. Yeah, I think it's either 9 lives or a stage select. I thought it was stage select because I specifically remember utilizing the stage select code quite a bit, because when you die, you start over, and if you want to finish the game, you could just kind of jump around from stage to stage. So, but those turtle games were Konami, so it makes perfect sense on that one. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
think
looking up over here.
I think it worked on all the Gradius games, 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
I think it was literally 10 or more games in the Konami games that
Oh,
used the code.
more than that.
Really?
I looked it up, and the most recent, I think, Konami game that made use of it was Silent Hill Homecoming.
I told you Silent Hill probably had it.
Okay.
Silent
just
Hill
didn't know which
3
one.
also used it, but
Yeah.
yeah, there was it's been in quite a few games. Like it was still pretty actively used on the PS2.
Well, Wow.
Other games
mean-
make use of it, even though, like, I think
Yeah.
Bloodstained makes use of it. And granted, Igarashi was at Konami, so maybe that was kind of why he did it. But
Right.
it's
What's it-
definitely prevalent in other games as well.
What's it do in
Was-
Bloodstain? I didn't know that.
Apparently it's used to make the gameplay more like original Castlevania or something. I didn't look too deeply, but
Huh,
it's like
okay.
kind of a challenge mode thing is what it does.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
And
you know what? I think it's in 1986 mode or whatever they call it.
Oh, the
It
yes,
makes the gameplay even tighter like the NES, whereas it's mostly like the NES originally. If you put in that code, it makes it exactly like the NES, where it's all the limitations that you had.
Wow.
So I remember it was in, I think it was in a Google Doodle once. I think you could like using your keyboard do up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and then it would like trigger something. I just looked it up. This is actually really interesting. On the Palm, like the Palm devices, the PDAs, if you typed in one word up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start, it would actually enable developer mode on the device.
Ha!
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's neat. There's a kids controller you can buy like $14 off Amazon for anybody who has kids out there. You may actually have one. It's like an Xbox controller, but it's like Fisher Price, and you can actually do the Konami code on that device, and it does like a Mario sound effect and a power up sound. Like it's like a neat Easter egg. So
Ah.
even that has that code. It's pretty cool. It's definitely probably the most famous cheat code out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a song. There's a song by the Deftones, and it is entitled UUDDLRLRAB select start. I'm not kidding you.
That's funny.
Look it up. It's on I think it's on their self-titled album. It's an instrumental. But when I saw that, I'm a huge Deftones fan, and coming from Sacramento originally, which is where they're from, I saw that and I laughed because we're all video game Konami nerds, and they named their goddamn song after the Konami code. It's pretty cool. So I mean, it is
Yeah.
obviously the most popular cheat code out there that everybody knows, the Konami code.
Yeah.
So that's a great selection. And to its use, it does make the game better because it's impossible to beat Contra unless you're GP with
I don't know how he
3
does it.
lives. So,
Like it wasn't the game he looped 5 times when we did a podcast or something
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he's a video game whisperer.
he is a whisperer. He's the game genie of human beings.
I mean, this guy speed runs Silver
Baltos.
Surfer.
And that
Well,
too, yeah.
and Silver Surfer, yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
We miss and love you, GP.
he's
Yeah.
unhuman in video games.
He is unhuman. He is. All right. Well, shall we go? That's all of us for our first games. Were there other games that you wanted to bring up, Sinistar? There was another one you thought.
Yeah, I was going to talk about, it's not a cheat code per se, but the early days of in particular PC RPGs, the grind mode was very real. And especially in the early Might and Magic games. And so it didn't have cheat codes, but being a computer developer and that sort of thing, we used to actually track the changes in like your stat values, and we'd open it up in a hex editor and we'd figure out where that was saved, and we'd adjust those. And generally we wouldn't, well, I mean, it depended on the day. Sometimes we just make ourselves like way OP, or sometimes we just give ourselves enough to get past that, like that 5 to 10 level grind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I did that a lot with Might and Magic games, the Eye of the Beholder games. I swear I did it on the Apple with the I'm gonna say the names, get your bingo cards, with the Bard's Tale games.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it
I
is.
mean, it's, and then of course there's that when you're a kid, there's also that, oh, this is, it's not understandable easily for kids why the difficulty is the way that it is, right?
Mhm.
And so you basically are like, I need to get past this difficulty. I can cheat to do it. So so a lot of those early RPGs, I would hex edit and figure out where those values were stored. So
Hmm. I
that
think
was work. It wasn't as
y
simple as
I was
just a
gonna say,
code.
didn't you and Jer did something not too long ago
Yeah,
where you hex edited something together? I think it was
yeah.
I wanna say it was like Might and Magic 6 or Bard's Tale 6 or one of those 2, and you just fought like the secret boss or something and just put it on haste mode, and
Uh-huh.
you just sat there to see how long it would take to get past
Yeah,
whatever the heck you
yeah,
were doing, so
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
Yep.
remember
that's what the cheat engine is called. It's used in modern games, right? I used it recently for Alan Wake 1, right? Where I just got
that.
fed up with having to replace batteries in my flashlight because it was necessity for combat.
Mhm.
And the cheat engine's this great thing. There's plugins for it, and all it is hex editing. And
Hmm.
with
Right.
that, at least, I'm leaning on the work of other people to find the hex code and values for stuff. But it's just that, right? Find the hex number for the number of batteries that you have, or the amount of bullets you have, and just tweaking it till it's infinite. So like
Yep.
I'm all for that kind of stuff. I think that's really rad. I remember now that we're talking about it, Diablo 2, if you didn't want to play in Battle.net, you could play locally. And if you played locally, there was a utility somebody made that basically was an inventory editor. So you could take,
Hmm.
whatever you had and make duplicates of it or add new items. And it was just hex editing your save file. I mean, I would never use
Mhm.
that to cheat with multiplayer, but when you're playing single
Right.
player, why the hell not, right? I thought that was really
Right.
rad.
Hmm. I mean, we all discussed it over MPs about are some of the new accessibility options in games considered cheat modes, right? Like we talk about it in Tunic, where you can not take damage. You basically turn on God mode to get through the game. It's not a cheat code; it's in the accessibility menu. Alan Wake 2 is the same thing. I turned off having to use batteries in Alan Wake 2 just so we can keep on cruising through it. Wasn't a
Yeah.
cheat code, just part of the accessibility. So
Yeah.
we wondered, is that something we bring up in a game that makes games better to cheat, or are we using
Yeah.
accessibilities? Is that considered a cheat code or what?
Well,
I
in our
mean,
household, we have a line in our house. Sorry, Jake. We have a line in our household that's literally, if the game lets you do it, it's not cheating.
right.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
I would just say like today, like these days, cheat codes are not really a thing in modern games. There's some exceptions, mostly for things like Bloodstained or like I know Shovel Knight, for example, has like 200 cheat codes to tweak various things, but it's more of an Easter egg or throwback
Wow.
to old games. But they don't
Hmm.
really have cheats in modern games. But you have things now like the accessibility menus that have been added, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like to control, for example, like you can tweak controls combat to be whatever you want, and it's mostly adjusting the amount of damage you take or how hard the combat encounters are. That's stuff that would have been cheat code back in the day, right? So I
Yeah.
think
Right.
I think
Right.
accessibility options are the modern version of cheat codes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
But to a lot of the accessibility options, they also make the game more available to people that need accessibility options, right? I mean, whether that's some sort of you know, cognitive issue or something else, right? Some sort of handicap, and it helps with those.
Right. Okay. Um, I guess I went after Sinistar last time, so I'll pick my
Yeah.
next one, which is actually a cheat code. Um, this everybody knows this game, everybody knows the series, and it happens throughout the series, but I specifically landed on the third game in the installment because that was basically when this game became super popular amongst everybody because Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 were completely different games. Not completely different. They were similar, but they had a different view. You didn't have the third person view, it was overhead. It was fun. I played the hell out of Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 when we were growing up. Um, and then they made 3 and they made it more personal, right? Well, what do you do in Grand Theft Auto? You steal cars, you run into things, you kill people, you find guns, you go shoot, you run from the cops. This game is so much more fun with all the codes to give you all the arsenals to allow you to mess with gravity. You can jump super high, you could float through the air, or you could drop a tank in the middle of the map at will and go rampage around the city. You can control how many stars you get from the police. You can control like how much money you get. It is just insanely fun to just throw all the stuff you have at it and just go mayhem around the city. I loved playing it that way. when you got bored of like doing the missions and you're like, I just want to spice some shit up, you drop a few codes into the game, you just go raise hell throughout the entire area. Usually wait
Yeah.
until the entire map gets unlocked so you can see how far you can drive in the tank before you before it either blows up or you finally get pulled over by the police department. But Grand Theft Auto 3 with honestly 4, 3, all the Grand Theft Autos with these codes were just it just made it so much more fun to play for no like when you weren't trying to achieve anything within the game. Um, big fan of that one. That one's a definitely
Honestly, Grand Theft Auto 3 for me is like that Tootsie Roll Pop commercial.
Mm.
I've never made it without biting.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Every time I've intended to play that game legitimately, I make it a handful of missions in, and it's like, nah, time to fuck around. It's more fun.
Time to grab a tank. Yeah. Time to get a jet
I've
plane.
spent hours and hours just dropping in vehicles and giving myself a rocket launcher, and with friends, right?
Mhm.
Right.
I've never seen more than maybe 20% of the actual story in that game.
Yeah.
It's a game that's great to go through once. I love GTA 3 a lot. That's one of my favorites. I mean, I like the other ones, the newer ones too, but the original is fantastic. I love going through it. But once you've beaten the story in that game, it's still fun to keep playing with as a sandbox game, just exploring the city, messing around, doing crimes. And when you have the cheats to give you all that money and all the weapons, and yeah, spawning, just dropping a tank from the sky and watching it land on people in the cars right in front of you is hilarious. It never gets old. And the whole franchise is like that. I think there's similar cheats in all the modern games, and they're all great. So definitely a good pick. This is a definitely game where it's fun to go through it straight, but then to go through it again with the cheats it's almost like a different game.
I just saw a cheat code that I absolutely adore. It's flying cars. It's
I was gonna say the same thing.
chitty BB.
Yep.
It's yeah, like yep. And then there was one where it was like raise your police wanted level, and in the video a cop just runs up and just punches him and then runs off. Like
Yep. You can give all the pedestrians weapons, so everybody's chasing you around with crowbars and bats and stuff. Like it just adds like a whole nother level to this game of either a challenge or fun. I love the flying cars. I love launching the cars into the air, just soaring the air in your Viper looking wannabe car. It's just there's a lot of fun stuff you could do with this one. But all right.
nice. That's a good pick.
Thank you. Wolf, what about you, bud? What do you got?
My second pick is kind of unusual for this. It's Sonic 3. And not for the stage select or anything like that, though I will admit, I never was able to beat the game. I took a long time for me to beat the game without a cheat code. And I'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, using the debug mode, I loved to actually just like build shit in the stages with my friend. Like we'd be playing 2 players, Sonic and Tails, and just build like little, I don't know, bases, tree houses, whatever the fuck you want to call them, out of whatever was available in that area. And so usually we'd get to the second area, Hydro City, and build there. But that's mostly what I liked doing the cheats in Sonic the Hedgehog for in general.
It was funny watching the debug mode work because you would just break the game. Like your character would turn into some kind of splotchy dancing symbols of nothing, and then you've got 800 different shield monitors posted around, and you turn into supersonic, and then the whole thing like breaks. It was a mess. We messed around with the debug mode quite a bit in Sonic 3 too, but we were trying to use it to be like, I need a shield. I'll just make one right now. And then you turn into the shield thing and you drop it. Then you turn back into Sonic, but there was no way to successfully not turn into more stuff while you were running around. So we never got really good at it, but I love the broken supersonic. That's kind of one of my favorite things. That it looks like
so like I was saying, I was unable to get past a certain point in Carnival Night Zone. I think that's what it's called, Carnival Night.
I think so, yeah.
There's a stupid spinning things, and this was new for Sonic the Hedgehog. Nothing else in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise was hold down, hold up, hold down, hold up to make it swing
Yep.
up and down.
Yep.
Could
Yep.
not for the life of us, me and my friend, figure out how to get past that shit. So we
Yep.
would use the debug mode to play through the whole game and then just teleport through that and then continue on. Like we would also use that.
I gotta say, a
'Cause
lot of
we'd
people
spent-
were stuck in that spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say my uncle
Because it was not intuitive. It was not
Yeah.
something the game ever taught you.
Right.
my uncle was a huge
Yep.
gamer, and he played through most of the games on his own. No guides, no nothing. Right? I mean, and this is a middle-aged guy at the time, and I remember he brought the game over to me because he was stuck on that zone and that same damn thing. He's like, I can't figure out where to go. You just stand on it, you go, and it spins you in a circle, but you don't move. So it's
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
something that was unintuitive for a Sonic game. So that's wild. And like debug
nothing
mode
in the
was a
manual on
blast.
them.
No, nothing in the manual
No,
either.
there was
I don't
nothing.
think so.
No.
There was
Oh, he's
nothing
gonna
that I
go
could
check.
remember because I specifically, just like Wolf, I got stuck in the same damn spot, jumping up and down. And you were like, okay, jump on it. Maybe I got to jump higher to get it to fall more, like use the gravity. But you control it with the D-pad. Like
Yeah.
you jump, and as soon as you hit the thing, you press down, and it goes a little deeper, then it goes a little higher, and it does this whole thing. But you wouldn't have known that. There was nothing that indicated that's how you did that. It was insane. So
But it was definitely a cool debug mode. Like I think Sonic 1 had similar, but there was definitely more items in Sonic 3. And I remember in Carnival Night using like the bumpers, you could spawn the bumpers, and I would make there's one particular room that was like a vertical shaft. So I'd use the code there, and you could build like a makeshift pinball game with the Sonic pieces. That's kind of like I used to love the level design games on the NES, the Builder series, right? Like Wrecking Crew and all that. And that's what it reminded me of. To be able to, like, you can't make a full level with it because you kind of had to stay on the same screen, but it's really neat to mess with.
just go play Sonic Spinball. Problem solved.
Everybody's favorite game, Sonic Spinball.
Notable Press B sponsored game, Sonic Spinball. Great game. Great game.
I've heard Bjork loves Spinball.
Bjork loves Spinball, and notable listener to Press B to Cancel.
After she's done clawing the eyes out of a journalist, she likes to spin up Sonic Spinball and relax on wine.
When she's from Greenland, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Greenland. But anyways, yes.
Not a damn thing in this manual.
All right.
Thanks for
Not
confirming.
a damn thing. Unbelievable.
Does it talk about how the Mushroom Kingdom gets turned into blocks that you then destroy?
Yeah.
Not in this manual.
Not in the third one. It's the Michael Jackson soundtrack too. That nobody ever played.
But this manual even has a page and a half of supersonic play tips, and it's not even there.
Play tip is what? You're invincible. Just go right.
Use Sonic spin dash attack to climb up
fast.
steep hills.
Yeah.
Grab gold rings. So it's like stuff that if you're unfamiliar with Sonic the Hedgehog, you'd be like, okay, all right, cool. But all this shit, no, none of that. It's so annoying.
I can go grab my Sonic and Knuckles cartridge and see if the manual has anything about it in there.
I don't think it would, because that was Sonic 3, not Sonic and Knuckles.
Right.
And I don't think they ever used that mechanic elsewhere. I think it was just a Sonic 3 thing. I think even Sonic Mania didn't even bother bringing that one back.
No, it was a weird and shitty mechanic. And I remember getting frustrated more times than I'd like to admit trying to get past that part. So,
yeah.
There
was also a lot of Tower of Power with Sonic 3, where it's like Game Genie, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3.
Yep.
And then using Game Genie codes of various types. Yeah.
It's stackable.
Yeah. You got to put that Sega 32, in there as well.
Yeah, you got to get the 32X on there first.
Yeah.
Let's get that fire hazard happening.
And Sonic and Knuckles.
But yeah, just in general, the cheat codes in Sonic the Hedgehog. Also, hearing the soundtrack, just being able to flip to whatever song you wanted, because the Sonic the Hedgehog games had banger soundtracks. So just going into the sound test for any of them, man, it was so good.
Just turn that on and just walk away.
I think with Sonic 2, you got to see You couldn't go to it, but I think you got to see the name of a zone that wasn't in the final game. If I'm not wrong, like there is
I
evidence
thought that was
of
in
other
Sonic
stuff.
3.
Was it Sonic 3 as well? Okay, I know that it got a hint behind the curtain of what might have been taken out of the game.
Oh, maybe it was in Sonic 2, and you just couldn't pick those stages.
I think so.
Honestly,
I
don't
think you
remember
might be
that.
right.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Jake,
Yeah,
you got one to end. You got one to end us out
Sure.
on, or
Speaking of
Yeah, what do you
manuals
got,
and shitty mechanics, Adventure Island, also for the NES. And
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Adventure Island, which was basically, I guess it was Wonder Boy in the arcades, but for the NES, Master Higgins, whatever his name is, the guy with
Higgins?
Higgins, Master Higgins.
And the basic gameplay is you're running to the right and you're throwing hammers, you're dodging things, and you got to keep eating your vegetables to keep the diarrhea train going. Because if you stop eating, you die. It is a very fun game. I actually like playing it, but it is a very long game and very difficult game. And out of the box, when you run out of lives, that's it. You start from World 1. But if you are somebody who bought it brand new, or you rented it from a place who thankfully gave you the manual, at the back of the manual, on the last page there, it mentions there's a hidden Hudson honeybee that if you pick it up in the first stage of the game, lets you use a secret code to continue when you die. And that is something that is so, I think, necessary to that game to make it better. Without it, that game is just like hot garbage. I know somebody who streams on Twitch. His name is MRR Knight. And he famously does not read manuals or take help from chat. And he did not know about this honeybee or this secret code. And I think it took him, like 40 something days to beat Adventure Island without this code, without this cheat. And I've never seen anybody else do it. It's wild to beat this game without that code, because it is a very difficult game. So if you don't get that honeybee, I'm not playing this game. There's just no way. It's a fun game. The controls are really good. The music is neat for what it is. It's definitely an NES game, but man, it's fun to play. But man, without that code, if you can't continue, it's like trying to beat Mario 1 with the upstart, right?
I was gonna say, like, this makes me think. I was when did I do my Sisyphean challenge?
Is that
Like
2
3
years
years
ago?
ago?
For Mario, it was
For Mario,
2022, I think.
I was that many years
Or
old
23.
when I was that many years old when I learned about the stupid continue cheat on Mario.
Yeah.
I was that old.
Right.
You know,
Well, they
I
don't
think
let
I was
everybody,
too.
right? Really? Okay, I knew about it as a
For me,
kid.
I
didn't
but
know that
somebody
was
Me
a
and
told me.
Jake were the only ones that knew it, huh?
Yeah. I mean, of course, I would never use it to beat Mario these days. I mean, I can do that in
Sure.
my lunch break, but it's, but as a kid trying to play through that game, yeah, like some of the old Nintendo games, if you didn't have the ability to continue, just forget it. That's why I always appreciated games like Ninja Gaiden. Not that I've ever beaten it, but at least you have infinite continues, right? That's like, at least when you quit, it's on your terms. That I'm gonna walk away from this game. I'm not gonna lose all my continues. Like Battletoads, right? I hate Battletoads because I run out of continues too damn easy. So yeah,
Do warpless.
do it warpless. Yeah, get good. Yeah,
That's what I was told for Mario as well.
Do warpless.
maybe one of these days we have
Well,
Sisyphean Revengeance, where you go back and you beat your goal, because I feel like you could beat that game.
I do too.
I'm just glad I did Chrono Trigger warpless.
Well, no, you didn't. You warped a lot in
No,
Chrono Trigger.
it's
You warped through
impossible.
time.
There's a lot of warps in Chrono
It's a
Trigger.
better way of doing that game.
No, you guys didn't play it right. I did it warpless.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
you gotta age
literally
up.
let my character sit there through 12,000 years.
Just walk.
That's how you do it.
Do it at the right time. Yeah, you start in the BCs and
Yeah.
work your way up.
Yeah.
You're still playing it right now. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's just rolling.
Is this Rygar?
Wow. Talk about revisiting. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. These are
Yeah.
great games. All these games are fantastic. These are games that some of them I didn't even think about. And some of them, of course, we all know about. We all know about Konami and its codes. The Hudson Bee, I'm glad you brought that one up, because that one, a lot of people don't know about that one, and a lot of people hate Adventure Island because of, or Wonder Boy or whatever, because of that feature where you die and you have to start all the way from scratch. So it's good. We're trying to help you guys out here, guys. We're trying to help Chad out and the listeners to go out and find games that they were like, man, I wish I could play this, but I don't want to start at the beginning. Go play Adventure Island now. Go play Wonder Boy in the arcade. Go play it. That's and cheat. Cheaters prosper sometimes in this particular instance. So
Can I throw real quick? I have an honorable mention. I just remembered.
go for it. Mention it honorably.
Twisted Metal 2
Oh, okay.
had
Yeah,
various cheat codes and stuff, but there was one that just made the game so much better that my friend and I, like, that was the only cheat code we were allowed to use while playing Versus, was up, left, so that your car could jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a cheat code.
It was like it was active while you're playing. You hit up, left, and your car would just jump like 20 feet in the air.
Jesus.
Wild. Okay. Interesting. I didn't realize that.
That's funny.
Well, if we're throwing out honorable mentions, I'm going to bring out NBA Jam.
That's a good one.
Well, yeah.
Because there's nothing like big head mode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it
Mike
also had
Bibby
like
with a giant head.
Sub-Zero, Raiden. I think there's a young kid model. Like all the hidden characters in that game was part of the fun of that game in the arcades.
Yeah. I would always go into the arcade and turn on big head mode.
Did Mortal Kombat have a couple secrets that you can unlock with codes?
On the Genesis, there was two. There's the main one was Abakabi, which I knew because that's what turned the sweat into blood, which is such a weird thing to think about nowadays. But back then, ESRB was new, and the whole idea of Mortal Kombat being M for mature was a big deal. So you had to do a code to turn the blood mode. And then I don't know how widely known it was when I was a kid, but I found out about it a few number of years ago. There's also a secret debug menu, and there's a code for that as well to open the debug menu. And that was kind of neat to mess with.
I felt like a lot of those earlier console games had a lot of debug codes that you could unlock and mess around with the inner workings of the game. I mean, Sonic being one of them, of course. So awesome honorable mentions. These are great games, guys. These are great choices. So go home and flip on your PlayStations and your NESs and fire up any one of these cheat codes and maybe finish a game that you've been wanting to finish and just couldn't figure out. Go give yourself 30 lives. Go completely power up your shit and then explode because you put the wrong code in. Have fun with it. That's what the whole point of the accessibility and the cheat codes are for. So, all right. If there's nothing else, and we'll go round robin with everybody and see what everybody is up to. Let's go ahead and start with DJ Spinistar. What do you have going on there, bro?
Monday I spin on my own. Most Saturdays I spin with Soul Archaic. On Saturdays it's called Smatterday. It's about just being derps and playing music. So otherwise I'm just trying to sell my old house.
Perfect. All right. Jake, what do you got on the horizon? You were talking about maybe mentioning something next month.
Yeah, I have something coming next month. I'm not going to talk about much just yet, but I would like anybody who's interested in more of my content, check me out on YouTube, SICJAKE, or just follow me on Blue Sky. Just search for pressb.org on Blue Sky, and you'll find a few of our accounts there. So check us out there.
Yes, please do. Jake is a very entertaining and quite knowledgeable individual. He makes some really good videos. He's got some pretty high quality stuff out there. So go give him a follow, please. And Mr. Werewolf, you've been dropping some wants in the future. What do you got coming up? Hopefully.
Nothing specific as yet. I haven't started working on any of it yet, but I did pick up the most recent Humble bundle for video editing, so that I have the newest Vegas. So I'm excited to start messing with stuff. I'm also just happily chewing through Final Fantasy 12, my Sisyphean game. That I don't think that game is long for this year.
You guys are going to be done your Sisyphean games before spring, and then what are we going to bitch about?
Dude, I usually don't start it until like November.
Gonna be
Jake.
Break.
Jake, I'm not going to start my Sisyphean game until I beat your Sisyphean game.
Well, look, I'm delaying mine, so ensuring that we have content throughout the year. I don't want to rush through it like you guys. You guys are just kind of like speed eating this competition. You don't need to do that.
You know, we do. Press B to cancel is nothing if it weren't for a Sisyphean game.
Yeah,
we clearly lean on the Sisyphean game for the entire 12 months we do this shit. So I get it. If it were for me, we'd have 3 days of episodes, and it'd be done, and we'd be off for the rest of the year. So
Speaking of Sisyphean games, this was brought up in our Discord, but November, the amazing artist has agreed that if our listeners / viewers want to join the challenge with us, pick a game. It's something you haven't beaten, whether it was too hard or you bounced off of it or something. It doesn't have to be difficult. It's just something you feel like you should have beaten, but you never have. He has agreed to create a likeness of everybody that participates in the Sisyphean game this year. Of course, pictures have to be approved and all that stuff, but join us on our Discord. You can find all the details, pressbtocancel.com or .org. Press B.
for those of you watching the video, I just showed off a bunch of his artwork that he's done for me himself. Amazing artist, absolutely amazing artist. If you're not following him on Twitter and all the other social media networks, do so. He is amazing. He's got some great work that he does out there.
Very talented.
And I love the guy. He's a good dude. He's a great guy. So check that out. So I guess that loops back over to me. What am I doing, guys? I've already beat my Sisyphean game because I am an overachiever, as my boss always likes to call me. Doom 2016 has been put to rest. It is done. We're not playing it anymore. It took me 3 days to beat it. So because it took us so short amount of time, and we just heard that Doom Dark Ages will be coming out May 15th, looks like it's time for me to jump into the old stretch goal and push that bad boy all the way to the end. We're going to jump into Doom Eternal this weekend, as a matter of fact, and we're going to play tomorrow and Sunday. And we'll take a weekend off, and we're going to hit it hard and try and get as far as we can in Doom Eternal. And I don't think it's not going to take me till May to beat it, although you never know. Could be a hard game. We ain't using cheat codes, so could very well take me until May to beat it. In which case, after that's done, when Doom Dark Ages comes out, we'll just keep playing the year 2025. It's the year of Doom. Apparently, it's a very doomed year to play these kinds of games. So we'll check that out. That's what I'll be doing. You catch me over at Twitch, www.twitch.tv/Chardmonk, and all other social media networks under the same name, including here on YouTube. Otherwise, you'll find me with these three wonderful gentlemen talking about video games or actors and actresses that we like or bagged milk. I don't know. But we'll be talking about some stuff. It'll be a good time. So
it's been a fair amount of time since we've done a Sandra Bullock or Gary Oldman episode.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm just saying. The options are there. So we're just gonna toss some of those guys out. So I guess if we're good, there's nothing else left to say. That's an episode, guys. What do you got, Jay? Oh, wait, no.
Wait, we gotta mention.
You're right. I would also like to announce that we are part of a great group of podcasters over at the SuperPod Saga area, the SuperPod Network, superpod.com. You can find us there.
SuperPodNetwork.com.
Super, whatever. They know where they're
not
going.
whatever.
Listen to the other.
Jesus Christ.
They
love
us.
Fired, Chard.
Oh, good. Well, they love us and we love them. Go check out SuperPod Sagas. Go check out Remember 64.
Stop.
Bunch of really good stuff.
Go check out Remember 64. They're part of the network. We had Dave on the other week. Go check out the 3DO experience with Bill and Thrack. They do an awesome, great stuff. Deep dive on 3DO games you've never heard of. Go check out Bar Silence. He does this awesome music podcast I love. Oh God, I don't know. There's a bunch. And of course, Aaron's SuperPod Saga is also really great. His former partner Tommy just started a new podcast. His buddy, it's I'm gonna forget his name. Is it Tommy and Grant Go Podcasting? Not in a car, but still pretty entertaining podcast. Lots of great podcasts over at superpodnetwork.com, including ours. You can find us there too. Don't fire us, Aaron.
We love you.
You fire me. You can fire me. I told you guys I didn't want to host tonight. This is your fault. Anyways, all right. So with that, I think we've buttoned this up into a nice little package.
I think
make sure that you use your up, your downs, your left Bs, your A Bs, and your select starts, and you can select the own level in your life and create rooms to have people come and live in, and then bring them out to berate them until they start a one-on-one fight with the hosts and kill your nanny in a pool.
Chard gets to host until he gets it right.
Fantastic. Wonder boy. What is the secret of your powers? Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.